Welcome to Willow's Book Apothecary. I am the host of the channel, Willow. Today I am hopping on the bandwagon with the rest of y'all, and we are going to be talking about The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I am 110% a mood reader, so I had purchased The Midnight Library when it came out. It was the Goodreads 2020 Literary Fiction Award winner, and it was also on the New York Times best-selling list. Last week, I had made a video about The Comfort Book by Matt Haig, and that was my first book that I had read by him. After completing that book and the video and receiving a positive response about the video, I decided that it was time to pick up The Midnight Library, and oh my gosh, I am so glad that I did. It seems that people generally love or hate this book. I haven't found many reviews that are kind of in between, and I am 100% on this book really came into my life when I needed to read it. Before we get any further in the video, I would like to share a couple trigger warnings with you, as there are some sensitive topics within the book. There are topics of depression, anxiety, self-harm, the death of an animal, and suicide. So if you are sensitive to any of these topics, please do your research ahead of time and maybe click off this video if you don't think you are suited to hear about any of these. The Midnight Library by Matt Haig follows Nora Seed. Nora Seed has kind of hit what she believes to be rock bottom within her life. After a series of unfortunate events that seem to be jammed-packed within 48 hours, she decides that she is going to commit suicide. Nora overdoses, and before she transcends fully into a state of death, she hits this in-between almost, and it is what is called the Midnight Library. It is this giant building filled top to bottom with books, and she is greeted there by her childhood librarian, Mrs. Elm. Mrs. Elm offers Nora the chance to explore all of these parallel lives that she would have had, lives that went left unfulfilled in her current life because of certain decisions that she's made. In other words, Nora has the chance to explore those what ifs that we all have as human beings. Nora wonders, what if I didn't break off my engagement to my ex? So she is able to hop into a reality where she didn't break off her engagement and sees how their lives would have turned out together. She explores, what if I would have signed that record deal with my brother and join this rock band, and she gets to explore that. Or what if I would have followed my dad's dreams of me becoming a pro athlete? What if? And Nora gets to travel along, I think, like 50 to 70 different parallel universes, parallel lives, and explore all she could have been, would have been. She comes to realize that life is basically what you make it. There's not going to be any perfect life. You have to embrace the good, and you have to embrace the bad, and embrace the bullshit, and embrace the highs and the lows. After reading this book, it stuck with me for quite a few days. And I have to admit that it unlocked a lot of potential within me, as odd as that may sound. It really made me take a look back and look at my own dreams and look at the decisions that I've made up until this point. Why did I make this decision, that decision, this decision? Did I do it for the benefit of myself? Was I self-sacrificing to fulfill someone else's dreams? Or is it a dream that I had but no longer serves me? So I've really been able to do a lot of introspection on my own life after reading this book. The book is heavily based on philosophy, as Nora Seed was a philosophy student within her root lifetime, and Matt Haig does a great job of kind of peppering little philosophical quotes within the novel. Commonly repeated lines within the novel is, "The only way to learn is to live." And I love that, because that is what I try to live my life by, is kind of living through this trial and error, pushing myself out of my comfort zone and seeing what's out there. I believe in growth, and if you don't grow, then you will kind of just stagnate. That's just my personal theory on things. I also have to say, if you enjoyed the movie Soul on Disney, then I think you would really enjoy this novel if you're in the right mood for it. It's a lot about that place of in between and looking at your life and kind of seeing what you would have done differently. But it's also learning how to look at your regrets and acknowledge them and almost amending them if you can. Well, overall, I would have to say that yes, I loved this book. It was riveting, it was dazzling, it was warm, it was inviting, and it hit me in the best way. Sometimes we need that cathartic cry, that punch in the gut. This is happily taking spot number 3 on Chicken Soup for Willow's Soul. Truly, it did so much good for me. Of course, your mileage may vary. You may pick up this book and just be like, yeah, this is like, you know, so yesterday, but for me, it really hit home when it needed to. One of my main purposes on this channel is to put out the material that nourishes me. I know I'm on a little bit of a tangent at this point, so I think I'll leave it at that. But BookTube, I'm all about it. Book Talk, Bookstagram, all of the raves, they hit home for me. I am so glad that I took the time to basically invest in myself by reading this book. Until next time, BookTube, happy reading.